everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Black Experience, y'all. We are in it in season 4. We are in the thick of season 4, y'all, and we're still going and we're still busting out more and more episodes. I hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone is enjoying their day. Today, y'all, I have a very special guest with me, as usual. Today, I have someone who is a husband, a father, an educator, a mental health advocate, and a clinician. So without further ado, y'all, let's put our hands together and let's bring up the man himself, Dr. Kofi Bonnie.
Wow.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. That was a nice intro.
Was it? I got it off the LinkedIn, right? Just like you recommended.
Yes.
Yeah. How's the day been so far? Been a slow day? Or?
Oh, so far so good. It's been a busy day. Yeah, never a dull moment.
Yeah. It is Monday, so
Yes.
that's how Mondays are usually.
Yeah.
Most people dread Mondays. I was looking at a study and they said the mornings on Mondays are like the worst days.
I keep
time.
my Monday schedule quite open, but it's always full and busy. Yeah. Friday is the busiest for me on my calendar, but Monday comes close. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I've been very lucky this whole year where I didn't have a class on Fridays in the fall quarter, winter quarter, and now spring quarter.
Wow.
So Fridays, now although no class, that also just means more opportunities to either complete a lab or do homework or. So my Fridays still are full.
Excellent.
Even
You're
with
almost
that
done.
class.
You're
But
almost done.
we're almost done though. So yeah.
Congrats for the hard work.
Thank you, Dr. Bonnie. Dr. Bonnie, I will say this. I first of all, I'm very thankful for Rachel. Rachel, shout out to you for connecting me to Dr. Bonnie. I still remember when she connected me with you. We met on Teams and we had a great conversation. Immediately after that, I was like, man, I gotta find a way to get him on my podcast as soon as I can.
Thanks for having me here.
So
yeah, we had a great chat.
absolutely, yeah.
Thanks for having me.
So yeah, let's kick it off with a little bit about your background. If you want to tell the audience a little bit, kind of where you're from and what the journey coming up to the Pacific Northwest was.
Yeah, I'm originally Ghanaian, born and raised in Ghana. Let me see. I'll try and keep it as short as possible because it can be very long. Born and raised in Ghana. I did my most of my formative schooling in Ghana. Attended a very popular boys' boarding house in Accra Academy. Then proceeded to Ghana's premier university, University of Ghana, where I read psychology. And it's a long story, but let me put it this way. I started university not with the mind of studying psychology. I went for my first degree for psychology just to please my mom.
Just to say you have a degree.
Yes, because just before I finished high school, I think my mind was away from education.
Why was that?
I'll attribute it to peer pressure and also poverty. I was tired of poverty and I just wanted to get rid of poverty.
Yeah.
So with a group of my friends, we're all okay. We're all okay in class. We're okay. We could have studied anything we wanted to study. I think we were planning to go into medicine, but in Ghana, medical school is straight 7 years after high school. We thought 7 years in uni is a bad idea. By the time you come out of uni, all the girls are married. So why spend 7 years in school? Or you'll be so poor, all your friends have got their cars and stuff like that. You decided, no, enough of education, let's hustle and make it. But it was part of me. It was around the same time. I started working very early. So just after high school, my cousin had relocated back to Ghana. He attended Dartmouth, had the first computer shop in Ghana. He employed me as a stock room keeper. I was making thousands of dollars, trust me, in Ghana.
You were making bank.
Oh, yes. But I realized money does not give happiness at a very early age. That's one lesson I thank God for. Money did not give me happiness. I had money. I bought my first car before I started uni, paid for, but I was still not happy, which was a big deal in Ghana. Late 90s, it was a big deal. So I decided, you know what, mom has been begging me to finish my degree. So I went to uni, studied psychology, and I entered a clinical psychology class and I got hooked. Professor Dankwa spoke about clinical psychology, and I think that day he was discussing a condition where catatonia,
Catatonia.
yes,
What is that?
where it's a condition where people get into some awkward positions for extended period of time as a symptom of a mental health disorder. And it really fascinated me because there I had seen people. I attended the boys' boarding school, so you see about 1,400 boys. You see a range of definitely you see some
Different
psychiatrists.
personalities
Exactly.
and all mindsets.
So I could recall there were people that we had met where sometime during the school term, due to stress or whatever, they have exhibited this condition. Long story short, I decided to study clinical psychology, but there was no graduate school in Ghana, so I decided to move to UK with a couple of our friends to further education in clinical psychology. It was when we got there that we realized, hey, we could not proceed to study clinical psychology. You must be a British citizen. We were there. Ghana is a British colony, but you could not just go into the education system. I applied anyway. I applied and got into psychiatric nursing. And there was a nurse who had done her further studies to be a clinical psychologist who was on the board that interviewed me. So she got me full scholarship.
Wow.
Yes, to study
And this is like right when you got into the UK?
No, it was after a year of hard work. If I say hard work, I mean menial, laboring work. There's a whole lot of stories to unpack there. That was the first time I realized I was black. I didn't know I was black. There's a long story till around that period. I was working as a construction laborer. And I was asked to identify as an unskilled laborer. And I was like, what does it mean to be an unskilled laborer? Apparently, there were laborers who could not read and write. I thought everybody who could speak English fluently could read and write.
Right.
But there were Caucasians, young people, younger than me, who could not read and write. Which for me, it was, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, long story short, that was one of my incidences with racism that I can recall and speak to, because my Scottish foreman educated me that it has nothing to do with my ability to read and write. It has everything to do with the color of my skin.
Wow.
Yes. And so I still have to identify as an unskilled laborer, even though I could read and write.
To this day?
No, that was when I worked as a laborer.
Okay.
But this foreman had noticed that I read, or he would see me reading during my lunchtime. Whereas most of the boys will be reading, we call it, there's a page 3. I've forgotten the name of the newspaper, but page 3 is usually nude pictures or comic or something that construction workers will use as their pastime for lunch. And I'll be reading a book or something, and he felt he knew I was somehow educated. So I entered psychiatric nursing, and before even I could graduate, this same mentor, a Caucasian lady by name Ruth Jordan, she used to be a professor at, I think, Oxford or Cambridge. Yeah. She mentored me to start mentoring clinical psychology students in acute psychiatric care, even before I got my master's degree.
And this is while you were still under that position name, that low-skilled?
No, the unskilled laborer was for that 1 year period that I was looking for education. I was looking to get into further my education.
So this is after that?
After that.
Got it.
Yes. So after that, and I was young, full of energy. I did a lot of work. Worked in acute psychiatric care for adults, for adolescents, substance use rehabilitation, mental health rehabilitation, forensic. I made sure I really consolidated my practice. You put me in any field, I was confident that I will deliver top-notch care for any population I cared for. I learned a lot. I will absorb, I will spend time with my mentors to know about clinical practice, spend time with physicians, with psychologists. I did a lot. So normally, University of Surrey, one of the top universities in the UK, would have requested you do 2 years clinical practice before you study for your advanced practice. They waived it for me based on my experience.
Right.
I think within 18 months, I started my advanced practice. And the advanced practice is the nurse practitioner course equivalent in North America, where you can deliver care as a provider in the UK. Yeah, so upon graduating, or just before I graduated, I was then also financially okay to travel. So I started visiting some countries, and Canada was one of the places that I had always wanted to visit. Yeah. I visited my uncle in Canada and met my wife, and ended up relocating to British Columbia about 17 years ago.
Man.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of the story of my life. And after working in British Columbia for about 10 years or so, I decided to pursue my doctorate and ended up with at Yale to do my Doctor of Nursing practice at Yale. And full circle, I found myself here. Yeah.
Wow. So from Ghana, from the homeland, to the UK, to British Columbia, to now Bellingham.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. That's in terms of country.
In terms of countries.
Yes.
Yeah. But there's always some in-betweens in there.
In-betweens there, yes.
Yes,
there's been other
so
places.
You said, so the British colonized Ghana.
Yes.
So did you go into the UK already speaking, learning, like speaking, writing, reading English?
Yes.
Completely?
Yes. Wow. So Ghana has got a long history of let me say, I'll say smart people, put it this way. Just last week, I was reading a news feed on LinkedIn, and I saw the first black guy to have 4 degrees from MIT in 4 years, and he's a Ghanaian.
You know what? I might have seen, because every morning, sometimes when I go on my phone, I see those kind of news. Someone with either 4 degrees, someone who graduated college, 2 degrees, and high school at the same time.
Yeah, lots of academic proneness. Lots of.
So your smarts is just part of you. Like you kind of were just born.
I don't call myself smart. I see a lot of people there that are way smarter. Yeah, I see a lot of people.
I mean, pursuing your doctorate though, that's Dr. Bonnie. And even to call yourself doctor, someone call you that, I think it's okay.
That's it's okay.
Does it give you a sense of pride?
Just to some level. It's a unique story. If I'm to sit down, break my story down to even how I got into my doctorate program, I've got 3 kids. Do all that with 3 kids and travel all around the place. Whilst my wife was also studying to be a lawyer, it's a lot. We came from nothing. Came from nothing. So it's a story. I came to Canada, even after living in UK for all those years, 7 years. I came to Canada with, I think, $500.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you survive?
Yeah, with a 4-month-old boy.
Wow. What did that journey look like for you guys from going from there to where you are now?
So my wife was then finishing her first degree at York University in Ontario. She was studying psychology and communication studies, but she had a dream of being a lawyer. And we worked things out. Encouraged each other.
Yeah.
Took her SAT, I think she took her SAT twice. Got into going to an Ontario university. I cannot recall it. I think Western Ontario. No, Windsor. University of Windsor. She started
University of
law school,
Winslow.
University of
Right.
Law, and then transferred to UBC.
Which is another big school.
Yes. So we
Wow.
had our first child when after first year law school.
Yeah.
Which in itself, I'm not advising anybody to do. It's a crazy thing. Crazy thing. Had our second child when she finished law school, before she articled and called to bar. I was then also, I was also working on building my research profile.
Yeah.
Started with my first 1,500 research grant from St. Paul's Hospital downtown, to the point that I got a Michael Smith grant. Michael Smith is research grant dollars, biggest research grant dollars you get from British Columbia. I was able to get one of the Michael Smith grants to do
Incredible.
some research. Yeah.
I wanted to kind of transition to family
Yes.
and what family means, because I know we were kind of just creeping up into it and talking about it, but so far from your journey, hearing what you were saying, it almost seems like education was kind of that leading path that was taking you from one place to another. When it comes to family, is that something that you said, because you said you have 3 kids and you and your wife are very educated, is that something that you guys have tried to instill in your kids?
I think that's the story of the black family.
What do you mean?
The story of a black family is education. Education is interwoven in, for us to thrive in this environment. And we have, let's tease out, let me break it down. There's knowledge, there's education, there's training, there's skills. But to stay educated is to thrive. You have to, if you want to thrive as a black person
Yeah.
in this environment, you must have education as part of your process of developing yourself. So it doesn't matter if you want to be a plumber, you want to, whatever skill you choose, whatever trade you choose, you have to add education to it. I've been listening to a couple of commencement speeches even lately.
Yes.
I was listening to Angela Bassett yesterday also give her commencement speech to Spelman College graduates. And I, as a kid, you are brought up. So now in North America, 1 in 2 marriages end up in divorce. In Ghana, where I grew up, it was not so. There was a sense of community. There was a sense of family.
Yeah.
We had each other's back. As at now, I call my brothers every week. We touch base, even if it's for 10 minutes, to check how things are. Family
Yeah.
is everything we got. You were asking me about family. I'll talk about education, but family is everything. Family is everything. I stated a statistic of 1 in 2 marriages end up in divorce.
50%.
50%. The impact it has on the children and the children's children, I don't even want to go there.
It's got to be intense. It's got to
Okay.
be a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now think about it. 1 in 2 people in North America, this was last year, data from the Surgeon General Vivek Murphy, Dr. Vivek Murphy, stating that 1 in 2 adults are lonely in North America.
Was this the article that you showed me?
That is what I
Yeah.
shared with you.
Yeah.
And for adolescents and younger population, is even the situation is even worse than what we see in adults. And they have less coping skills. And do you know what we compare loneliness to?
What do you guys compare it to?
Smoking 15 sticks of cigarettes a day.
Just say that one more time.
That is what Vivek Murphy, his report said. Loneliness is compared to smoking 15 sticks of cigarettes a day.
Wow.
So the impact on your health goes beyond your physical, your mental health. It's every aspect of your living can be compromised
Yeah.
by just smoking 15 sticks of cigarettes. Or financially, to hit you hard. So family means
Yeah.
everything to me.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to kind of transition to that now, like the article, because I remember, for those of you guys who don't know, we had met in your office and we had talked about the podcast, but we also talked about the articles that you've written before. and specifically on loneliness today, like, what do you think is that primary cause of loneliness today?
Couple of factors. I would not like to even pretend I'm an expert on loneliness, but I've read a thing or two about loneliness. One is our whole philosophy of living. We are social beings. We were designed for each other.
To interact, to
To
talk.
interact, not just interact, to be in the presence of each other, to eat together, to be with each other.
Yeah.
But with time, due to whatever so-called development we think we are having, we are no longer spending time with each other.
Because we're always on the phone?
Yes. I was
yeah?
listening to, if you look at the development or the Industrial Revolution, brought this to us. I'll talk about the phone, but historically, we lived in 100, 150 people in a community. And if the community, you do something, they want to punish you, they ostracize you.
Right.
People were more scared of loneliness than scared of lions and wild animals. Okay? It was a punishment that people would die, not because they were hungry and could not feed themselves, but they've been cut off from the society they belong to. This will go a long way when I come to talk about incarceration or the disproportionate incarceration of black men. Okay? Now look at it. So as we ostracize people, we cut people off, there is a sense, because we are social, there's a sense, the need. We try to fill that void with things that you cannot feel lonely. You cannot feel sense of loneliness with food. People try to eat their way too, but you cannot.
No, you can't.
You cannot feel it with any source of entertainment.
No.
You cannot feel it with any form of drug. People who use substances, if you spend time with people, some will tell you, the last time I had, especially opiates, I felt like having a nice hug. That's how people have described it. Some have described.
They take the opioids and it feels like
some
a
have described
hug.
like a kiss from a loved one.
Right. It's like dopamine.
Yeah,
like a feel-good chemical.
The opioid receptors have a way of feel good. They work in the same parts of your brain as the centers for emotional well-being and feeling good.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you look at loneliness, family, black men, the black story, how are we going to thrive? What are we going to do next? It's all interconnected.
When you tied loneliness to the incarceration of black men, are you kind of, my mind kind of went to cutting off the father figure in the family has repercussions across generations. Is that where you're getting at?
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
You're breaking the family unit. Everybody plays a role. Children plays a role. Children have a role to play in the family. The mother has a role to play. The father has a role to play. When all parts are not in, it's like an orchestra. If you play any musical instrument, you need some.
You need everyone.
You need some key notes. You cannot. There are certain notes that you cannot. Yes, you can play how do we say it? A modification of the note, but you need certain core things. Certain things cannot be compromised or substituted.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when I look at these things, it really makes me sad, because you can't change the history of it, but then at the same time you're like, okay, moving forward now, how do we actually fix that? And also, how do you, because some people can argue too, and they say, no, I think it's the reason why the majority of black men make up most of the prison population. is because they just end up doing more crimes or something like that.
Yeah.
If someone was to say something like that, I guess where do you draw the line between?
I'm happy you are talking about solutions, because most of them when we meet, we talk about the issues without talking about solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So let's for a moment hang on to some solutions here. How do we move on from here?
Right.
When people say, yes, it's in the past, why are you hanging on to this? But this is part of the education. I've spent a lot of time educating myself because there's very little education out there targeted to us, for us. There are pieces of information there. It's difficult to find. Formerly, there used to have schools, the Black Panthers had schools where black people would get together, teach them culture, teach them everything. Those schools do not exist. There are some communities where they will meet and try and pass on their traditions and knowledge to the kids or to the next generation. Most of such communities are in the black folk area. They are very limited. Such informal training. Let me put it this way. Some will refer to as some of the best education they've ever had, because you learn about life. You learn about real life. How can we break the chain? That's a question, right?
Right.
How do we break the chain? We have to be intentional about this. We have to be intentional. There was some intentionality to enslaving us.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to put some intentionality to getting ourselves free.
Right.
It is not just, you have to read. Trauma begets trauma. Hurt people do actually hurt people.
I've heard that one plenty of times this year, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you want to break that cycle, we must surround. So you hear about trauma-informed care. We must educate ourselves to know what trauma have we been and how can we break those trauma. I want to be a better version of my dad. My dad, I want to be a better man than he was. My dad is still alive in his 80s.
Wow.
Yeah, he's still alive. Still exercises, still smart, still.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But he never gave us the education that we needed to talk about race. I told you that one of the first incidences of race was when I got to the UK. Yes.
Yeah, that title name.
Exactly. Right. I was in my early 20s then.
Wow.
I didn't know even the history behind my last name till I think 2010 or 2014 when I had that discussion with my dad. My last name is Bonnie, because Bonnie is typical English or Caucasian name.
Does that have a meaning?
It has a meaning, but from what my dad told me, it was our last names were anglicized. So your name is Bonzi. And when you go, the Englishman cannot pronounce the Bonnie. They give you a version of English name that sounds as closest as possible to your native or your original traditional name. So there's a couple of Odami, Damson, Hefron, Wafron, like a whole lot of names. I didn't know all this history, but as you educate yourself, you get to know the meaning of your name. You get to know why your name has, I would say, metamorphosized. You get to choose the name you call your children. So all my 3 kids have got traditional names.
What are the names?
Papa Eko, Mami Ama, and Nanaba.
Wow.
Yes.
Now they're going to have trouble for the subs and the teachers pronouncing them. That's a whole other thing.
No, we've done it. We've done it.
Yeah?
I do remember one of in grade 1 or so. My son is the oldest. The teacher wanted a short, or his friends wanted a short version of his name. I said, there's no short version of his name, because there was a kid in the class called Washington. How many syllables?
There's a lot.
A lot of syllables. My son was Papeko. There's no... My son later on created a short version for his name. And there's one cool story. My daughter in preschool, first day, we went to pick her up. After spending just 2 hours with the teacher, Her teacher was red in her face when we went to pick her up, almost in tears. She said the whole period that she spent with my daughter, she tried to pronounce her name. She could not pronounce her name. And my daughter kept correcting her. What really touched her was my daughter at 3 could differentiate the phonics between mamiama and mamama. And the teacher just could not pronounce mamama.
Wow.
And how my daughter at 3 years could tell her the difference. Yeah. She's also has a short version for them. When they grow, they turn into teens.
They made some short versions.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
To make it easier.
But name is one.
Yeah.
Name is one. It connects you to your people, it connects you to your background. There are other traditions. The respect for others, respect for humanity, love for all, an attitude of gratitude, an attitude of service. These are all things that if all of us were to practice, I don't think we will be that lonely.
When you specifically, because I'm in college right now, and we're at Western Washington University, you know, is there anything, let's say, that institutions like schools or, you know, people that have the funds that could fund something that could have a better future for the next generation of students who are trying to, you know, working on mental health advocacy and loneliness?
Yeah. So on that same document, Vivek Murphy talks about what individuals can do, what institutions can do, what families can do to decrease the epidemic of loneliness in America. We have to be intentional. We have to create spaces where we can come together and have conversation. We can leverage the podcast like we're using now to create a conversation. So this conversation we have, after this conversation, families can sit down and have discussions with their kids. What do you think about what this guy who didn't know anything was talking about? Yeah. We used to have dinner time, protected dinner time. Now very few families have protected dinner times where they sit down to talk, to have discussions. Now, most dinner times have turned into archival tables. We put things on, we stock things up, or we keep them as a decoration piece. Having time. What can we do as a community? Create community wherever you are. Usually in the educational institutions, you guys are do well at, like you said there was a concert here.
Yep.
You came with your friends, yeah. But it doesn't continue. As soon as you leave here, how many of your high school friends do you meet, touch base, have fun?
To this day?
Yeah.
Very few.
Yes. So recently, I lost my mom. I was in Ghana. The last time I went to Ghana was about 11 years ago. Guess people who showed up for my mom's funeral? My grade 1 classmates. Most of them I've not seen in over 35 years. And I called everybody by name.
So you're still in touch with your grade 1 friends?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. That's a sense of community. So I think we jump in, but let me just talk about loneliness and suicide. I do remember once I was asked, how come there is less suicides in Africa and more suicides here? Average, I think, the latest document I checked from Healthy 2030 suggests suicide rates in North America is about 14.2 per 100,000 people. In Africa, it's about 6.8 per 100,000 people.
So more than half.
Oh, yes, less than half.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was being asked, how come there's less suicide rates? There's a sense of community.
Right.
Sense of community. Somebody was describing Navy SEAL training. Yeah. That SEALs are a community. Like they are brothers.
They're brothers. Yep.
They die together. They do everything together. And sometimes at the tough time, during their training, it gets to a point in time that when your body cannot physically cope with what you're going through, it is the family around you, the people around you, the community around you that will help you push you forward. So that is what we need to instill.
Yeah.
Let us take care of each other. We are each other's keeper.
Yeah. I want to actually ask you a question now, kind of directing it to Bellingham and
Yes.
living here in Bellingham.
Yeah.
Dr. Bonnie, how are you able to make a community here in Bellingham? Let's say people listening to this that live in Bellingham, they're like, "Oh, okay, what can I do?" You know, it can be both as a black person, but also just as a person in general. How does someone make community in this space?
You know, we have got several examples of people who have used their life without looking at the camera, without looking at any lights, any flashlight on them, and have made a difference in a very small way. I'll say brighten the corner where you are. It sounds like a song. Just brighten the corner where you are. It's one of the kids' songs that I learned in primary school or something, but it's brighten the corner where you are. Whatever it takes, know your neighbor. There are people here who do not know their neighbors. And actually, in Blaine, there's one neighbor I know very well. The next neighbor, anytime he sees me, turns away.
Really?
Yeah. But you don't stop. You don't stop. You engage. The man of the house now says hi to me because I won't stop.
Yeah.
But the other person may not be responding to you every time. But you just keep trying. I don't hold any grudge. There's no room to hold any grudge. Be nice. You don't know what somebody will be going through. You don't know what somebody is going through. Help somebody. Volunteer somewhere. We have to put ourselves. It's risky. Yes, you may be shunned. Yes, you may be ignored. So what? So what?
If people can get past that,
Yes.
Dr. Bonnie,
Yes.
that's all it takes.
Yeah.
And even me, I myself have caught myself many times where I sometimes, when I go grab food in the Viking Union, the one we were passing in, and I'm like, let me go sit next to someone new today. It's a risk you're taking because you approach someone, maybe they don't want you to sit next to them. Oh, you get rejected. So what? You know, move on to the next person, go make another friend.
I read something. I do not have the reference. I know I'm in an academic institution. I should provide reference for this. About a forensic psychologist who reviewed and analyzed suicide notes, about 300 or so suicide notes. And there was a theme that came up that you are reading the suicide notes because somebody was about to go and kill himself or herself. And he said, if somebody will say hi to me, if somebody will say hi to me, if somebody will smile to me, if somebody will just see me, you will not be reading this note. Something to that, I'm paraphrasing.
What percentage of the suicide notes had that?
About 300. There was a big chunk of 300. I think he reviewed 300.
Yeah.
But a big chunk of this, the theme that came out was, you are reading this because nobody said hi to me.
You serious?
Yes. I've worked in mental health for a while.
Wow.
For people who have survived suicide will tell you the loneliness and the helplessness. Loneliness, nothing can be done by my situation. Nothing, nobody can help. My situation is so bad, nobody can help me. No, my situation is so bad, I cannot help myself. That's loneliness.
Wow.
Helplessness, my situation is so bad, nobody can help me. Most people get to that period of hopelessness and helplessness. And the other complexity here is there's also access, where in Africa there's less access. So it's not just the sense of community. Access to lethal ways of ending your life for suicides. There are other variables that I can also, but for time, I'll leave it to two big variables: sense of community and access to lethal ways of completing.
So your encouragement for people is to say hi, to smile, like it's to do the little things.
The little things.
That, like, what is something someone can do, let's say tomorrow, when they wake up, what's something they could do to a stranger or to their neighbor?
We are each other's keeper. We are each other's keeper. Everybody has got the opportunity to be nice and loving to people. You don't know what somebody is going through. Gives everybody the benefit of a doubt. I know it feels, you put yourself in a very vulnerable situation. You don't want to be vulnerable. We pride ourselves in being tough. We pride ourselves in being secured, and you want to guide your boundaries. I was once talking to somebody who is a security expert. He says the worst thing you could do for security is to build a tall wall and a thick fence. Yes.
What does he mean by that?
Because you don't know how the one who's going to attack you, how he's going to go attack you. But we build strong walls. We always build strong walls, strong fences.
Yeah.
And I keep joking. If I am to build a house in Africa, no fence. Before the person comes, before your enemy approaches, you can see the enemy from afar. Yeah. You know what he's made up of. And there are people who have been killed in their houses, attacked by thieves, who jumped over the fence. That the area and the community nobody knew what was going in because their walls were so thick and high.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah.
That is something. Dr. Bonnie, I want to transition to PeaceHealth.
Yes.
And kind of where you work right now. Kind of tell us a little bit about why you picked PeaceHealth to work in and kind of what your position is right now.
Yeah, I'll start with my position. I'm the Director for Mental Health for the Northwest Network. We cover 4 main communities. The community of Whatcom, Skagit, San Juan Islands, and Ketchikan in Alaska. My role is to look at developing mental health care within these communities that we serve. From our community service, mental health care came as one of the top priorities our communities would like us to address. As you know, you cannot separate your mental health from your physical health. Yes, you cannot. I know people talk about behavioral health and people talk about as if it's something else. It is part of your physical health. I have a cool story. So when I was young, I was trying to crack a nut with a hammer. And my mom was walking by. She asked me to be careful not to use the hammer. I felt, what do mothers know? I'm a big guy. I know how to use a hammer. Not too long afterwards, the hammer, I accidentally hit my thumb with the hammer.
Your thumb with it, yeah.
So, of course, there was some, I lost my nail. My thumbnail came off. But for weeks, I had to protect that finger or the thumb.
Yeah.
And it's my mood from that physical incident, the way it affected my mood, my effect, my mental health was tremendous. I use that as an exemplar, as a narrative to tell you there's no difference between physical health and mental health. A lot of philosophers have settled that point. I will not labor it. So that is my responsibility. Why did I choose PeaceHealth? The vision of PeaceHealth, the mission of PeaceHealth, the values of PeaceHealth aligns with my personal philosophy. Aligns with my personal philosophy. I was at a position when I finished my doctorate, I was challenged to make a difference. I can be very quiet.
Really?
Yeah, I can be very quiet. Sometimes it's just because I'm tired. But anytime I had shared my thoughts and my experiences in class, all my colleagues will be so quiet, listening to me, and after they keep telling me, you have so much to offer the country, you have so much to offer the country. Please make sure you make a difference before you leave. So I was looking for a community where I can make a difference. I was in Idaho for 3 years. But because of U.S. immigration systems and the way they process things, my family could not join me. So for 3 years, I was without my family. And
without just you?
Yeah, it was difficult.
Yeah.
And I said, as we started the talk, family is everything. Yeah. Family is everything.
Yeah.
Family is everything. As a nurse by background, I stood by bedside of people who are passing. Yes, friends can come close, but there's nothing as close as family.
Can family be people that are not by blood?
Yes. So in nursing, one of our theories is family systems theory. And not everybody has family. There are refugees that their whole family have passed.
Yeah.
There are people who, through accidents, their whole family have passed. So the definition of family is not just blood family. Because you can't be adopted to a family and have foster parents.
Right. And have foster parents that care
Exactly.
about you, that see you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it is who you determine your family is.
So
For
who does those things?
Yes, for some, their family is their soccer friends. It's the closeness of the bond between yourself and your family that makes them family.
Wow.
Yes.
No. Wow.
But family is everything.
I bet. Yeah. And for me as well. And not just because, I'm also from Africa, from the east side, from Eritrea. But also, that's something my parents, I've seen it in my parents. My mom's side, it's 7 kids. My dad's side, 9 kids. And, they communicate. They have, they're humans. So they obviously have times when they disagree with each other and stuff, but they communicate with each other. They're close with each other too. So that's something I want to model too when I have my own family one day and do that. But yeah, family means a lot to me as well.
Yes, it means a lot.
I know it means a lot to a lot of the listeners. But Dr. Bonnie, man, as we're kind of closing off the podcast, we've talked about so many prevalent issues, especially in 2024, mental health, suicide rates, you know what I mean, and the black family, but kind of culminating everything together, what advice would you give to the younger generation that's on the come up now, and that's about to take on the world, it could be college students that are just entering college, those of us that are about to graduate college. What is your advice?
Wow, this is a season that there's a lot of advice in the air. I don't know. There's a lot of advice. Sometimes I feel like you shy away from advice. Who am I?
No,
advice.
No. We've already learned so much about you, and
I can only share some few. You may call it advice, but let me see. I don't know even where to start from. There's a lot. So, where do I start from? I think I should start with passion. Have passion for something good. I will not say just have passion for having passion's sake. Have passion for something good. Have passion to make a difference. Have passion to want to contribute to the society. Have passion to want to leave the place better than you came to meet it. You've heard about grit and what grit is. Grit, passion, perseverance. So have passion for something. I equate perseverance to hard work. I equate perseverance. What is hard work and what is perseverance? Perseverance is just going for it, in spite of whatever may come. Yes, you may fail. Failure is part of learning. Failure is part of the process. So focus on the process, go for it, hard work, and persevere. You will persevere. Maybe you may not settle for what you thought you would. Life has got its way of making you find your niche. And you'll be brilliant at it. You don't even have to sweat it. You will enjoy it. So go for it. And there is a lot to life that we do not know. I'll keep it to 3. Usually people can remember 3 things. Have passion. Have a passion for love. Have a passion to care for people. We've talked about perseverance, hard work. The last one I would like to leave it is life is fun. Life is fun.
Yeah.
life is fun. Let's enjoy life.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy life. And part of enjoying life means you love people. Because I'm yet to see anybody who has fun all by himself or at the expense of others.
It's got to be a very bad person that would
Exactly.
enjoy that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you have fun at the expense of others, that's just wrong. To watch somebody suffer. So have fun, but with love. Have fun with love.
Have fun with love.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you are enjoying something, make sure others are enjoying it too. It applies in every aspect of your life, whether it's doing a podcast, whether it is shopping. There are days that you are just happy. You are just in a good mood. Share the love. Share the love.
Because like you said, you never know what someone's going through. So
You never know what somebody is going through.
that smile, that hello,
Yes.
that have a good day could
Yeah.
make their whole day.
Yeah. I have this crazy thing I've started recently that I call people at random and start playing the guitar for them. And not that I'm good at playing the guitar, I just learned how to play it, but it's good to make a cheerful noise.
Yeah.
Last week, just the Saturday, I called a family friend that the last time we met was 3 years ago. We grew up together. She lives in the UK. We'd hardly talk to each other. I don't remember the last time even I called her. Our parents, we lost our parents almost at the same time. So but anyway, long story short, she had been thinking about me she said for months now. So I called her and I said, you know what, I just linked these 2 songs and I want to play for you. And she called her whole family to come and listen to me play for them. And they were so excited. They were so excited. Have fun, but not at the expense of others.
Wow.
In having fun, share the love. These are the 3 things I can think of readily. It may change as we walk down the streets, but for now, that's what I would like to
this is beautiful put.
Yeah.
Beautiful put, Dr. Bonnie, and we appreciate it. And thank you for taking the time. Before I close this out, is there any way, where can people find you? Is there any articles, anything that you want to shout out about yourself before we close?
Oh, as I said, I'm a very quiet person. If you had not mentioned, I don't have any. I do 1 or 2 speaking engagements. I will not call myself a paid speaker, presenter. No. But in my own small way, I share the love.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, I have about 18 people or so that I'm taking them through mental health resiliency. Out from my church group, I do stuff. I do talk to students 1-to-1. I do stuff.
So maybe if people run into you, you'll smile at them and then be
I try to.
I remember him.
Sometimes you may see me serious. I may be deep in my thoughts, but hey, try to remind me, hey, you are the same person who asked me to smile. Why are you not smiling?
Right, I smiled at that.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Bonnie, so much. And
nice having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
And we hope y'all enjoyed this awesome episode. And as usual, y'all, stay blessed, take care of yourselves, watch out for each other, love each other, and have fun. So without further ado, y'all, until next time, guys. Peace.
Thank you.